Thank you all for standing by. As always, we'll turn it over to the head coach for opening comments before opening to questions in the room. Toward the end, we will open to questions from Zoom, but we will start off with the head coach. Coach?
Yeah, again, sorry for being late. We had Anish and Golick and all those crew, and had a lot of questions. So anyway, we got long there. So apologize for that. But hey, excited to get back going this week. Super pumped about heading up to Syracuse. Trying to accomplish something we haven't done yet, and that's win on the road this year. This is a huge challenge, tough place to play, and had a lot of battles with Syracuse over the years. They do a great job, but excited to see our guys respond. Again, I thought we made a lot of progress, as we talked about in the BC game, and in so many areas. The open date came at a great time for us. We've got fall break as well yesterday and today. So, again, just kind of, mentally and physically, getting in a better spot, and then, getting some really good work on ourselves, extra time to really do, crossover work and things like that. I think it's been really good. And then obviously, getting a little bit of a start on Syracuse last week. But I think the rest was good for our guys. Really good, just great practice yesterday. I mean, really love how they practiced. I know it's a Tuesday for everyone, but it's a Wednesday for us, so it's a little different, routine and schedule. But again, like where we are. But Syracuse is, they're not much different than us. I mean, they're 2 plays from being 5-1. They're 3-3, but I mean, you're talking about, last play, overtime, games, down to the wire. So, a team that's playing really, really tough on both sides of the ball. They've got a lot of experience. They've got a lot of guys that have played a lot of football for them that are back. They defensively, they create some problems, with their scheme as far as, how they move around. We got to catch movement. You got to communicate, first of all. And they rarely ever sit still. You got to really do a good job of collecting the movement, picking up the twist, and passing things off, and all those things. They'll challenge you, in the back end, and again, very well coached. Got plenty of experience, and then we'll do a lot of different things from a coverage standpoint. So we got to really be dialed in there. And just continue to build on what we did this past week. And that's, being fundamentally better, not having the stupid penalties, taking care of the football. Those are all things that we did a better job of. Our communication was excellent. We did a much better job of not having tackles for loss and sacks and things like that. And so that'll be a challenge because this bunch, they're one of the best out there when it comes to sacking the quarterback and creating negative plays. And that's a credit to their players and their execution of their scheme because they do create some challenges there. But so we got to do a great job in handling all that stuff and again, just building on what we've done. And then offensively, they got 2 really, really, really good dudes when it comes to running the football. And that's that quarterback and number 34. I mean, he's special. That running back is special. He's their leading rusher, leading receiver. He's explosive. He's fast, got great vision and power in the hole, great change of direction. He is a really, really good player. They're featuring, they're really running the football. That's what they're doing, and they are sold out with this quarterback on, every run scheme you can think of when it comes to the quarterback run game and all the complementary stuff that comes off of it from the boots and the play actions, the play action shots, pop passes, a lot of screen game. They're good up front. Same thing. A lot of guys that have played a lot of football for them. I think 4 starters are back up front there, and got the big tight end, a couple of tight end guys. They do a great job. Again with their run scheme, and then with this quarterback. I mean, this guy can run. I mean, it's just. Sometimes I think they just tell everybody to go deep, and then he just runs. I mean, it's unbelievable. People don't tackle him. I mean, he's breaking tackles. He's he is a really good player, and we'll have our hands full with this guy. I mean, we talk all the time about containing the quarterback and having rush lane integrity and all those type of things. And let me tell you, if you're not on point on this guy, I mean, it's 40 yards, it's 50 yards because he can run away from you. And he's really smart and savvy and has a great understanding of what they're doing schematically. It's obviously zone read type stuff, but they got a lot of design quarterback runs, and then again the shots and the play actions that come off of it. So it'll stress you from a coverage standpoint. So stopping the run and winning the line of scrimmage, and then us being able to run the football, that'll be the difference in the game. There's no question about that, and taking care of the ball but really impressed with their team, their effort. The way they have fought game after game after game. And again, just like us, two games that they've lost, that could have gone either way on one or two plays. So it'll be a battle up there for sure, but we're looking forward to the challenge.
During the open day, how do you feel like you got better? What did you do that you feel like, hey, we're a better football team than we were before?
Well, number one, we got healthier. We're still not, where you'd love to be, but we're dang sure better than we were this time last week. If we'd have played last Saturday, it would have been real interesting. Some of y'all would have been like, now who's that? So we got better there. And then, again, just, more time to work on Clemson. And then, again, from a staff standpoint, some time to really, work hard on our crossover study. I think that's always a valuable, tool of information for us. But the number one thing is just getting some guys healthy and in a better place. And so that's first and foremost what we needed.
Coach, at defensive tackle, you got E.T. and Peyton Page backing up Rook and Trey, and then Justin Foster also inside a little bit. Darnell Jeffries hasn't played in the last 3 games. What's his status, and how far is K Parts' knee from being able to go?
Yeah, well, he's back. K Part's back. This is his first week back in practice. So hopefully, he's going to be able to, get in the mix a little bit. He's obviously had the knee surgery and he's been limited and, came back but still wasn't quite ready. And so, kind of just put him back on ice for a little while. So this is his first week back in the dress of the day and practicing. Going to be a great player. Does some natural things. So, it's exciting to just get him going, and hopefully can be a guy that can have some opportunity the second half of this season, like hopefully for several guys. But Darnell just hadn't had as much opportunity. I mean, E.T. it just our depth is what it is, and he's a guy that can play. He knows what to do. He's a tough kid, but coach's decision there on where we are. I mean, really pleased with what Rook's done, and then Trey, man, he's battled hard all year. He's getting better. I mean, he's a work in progress. Peyton has made improvement. Big, huge body in there. And then, man, E.T. has really come on. I mean, we're very encouraged. He doesn't always look great, but he's disruptive, and he's really grown. So it's exciting. I mean, that's a silver lining for, Tyler and Brian, being out, we're really developing very, very quality depth. And you think about next year on what we have the potential to be right there, it's exciting. We're going to have a lot of really talented, functional guys that we're going to have great experience in critical situations in games. So, that group's played well. They've done a good job. They've stepped up. So I'm proud of them.
On a general level, were there any important revelations that came from the crossover stuff?
Oh, yeah. No real revelations. It's always, sometimes it's confirmation of what you already know. But, yeah, it's, coaches look at things different. And so it's always a helpful tool for both sides, and just, good self-scout information that you want to use to your advantage.
Coach, Sam Hartman and Wake were able to really take the top off that defense, several long pass plays in that game. Is this a game in which you might see some opportunities to take some long pass shots down the field, or do you think they might imitate kind of what Georgia Tech did?
I think you got to run the ball first. You know, what you saw against BC was our ability to run the ball, and nobody wants to be run on. And so if you can run the football, then you have opportunities in the passing game. And we had plenty of those. You know, now we need to finish them. You know, that's the difference in kicking field goals and putting somebody away. So hopefully that's kind of the next step for us. But you got to win the line of scrimmage. You got to run the ball. I mean, when people are giving you opportunities to run the ball, and we were able to do that in this past game. We did not do that well enough in the previous games, and that limits you. Again, very different from last year, you know, where you really only had two receivers, Amari and Cornell, you know, and you had a young EJ that was coming. Everybody said, you're not going to run the ball. Let's see you throw it. And, you know, we were able to do that at a high level. And, you know, early part of this season was just the opposite. They're like, okay, we got this big arm quarterback. We got some dudes outside. Let's see you run the ball. And we weren't able to do it. And that limits you. You know, not a lot of plays when you got 8 people deep. You know, there's not much there. You have to be able to run the ball effectively when people are challenging you that way. And so we were able to do that in the past game, and again, that created opportunities in the passing game. So, yeah, I mean, Wake Forest, they would run the football, and great, lot of play action, a lot of their RPO stuff, and then ultimately they were able to make some plays. So, and same thing with Syracuse. They were able to run the ball. And that creates explosive opportunities because, again, you have to commit. You know, you can't just sit there and play coverage when you got a quarterback that can run like this dude. It's going to create a little more stress on your coverage because you have to stop the run. If you can't stop the run, you ain't winning. Yeah, it's just that simple. So hopefully there'll be some opportunities, but we got to be able to, win the line of scrimmage and run the ball effectively.
With Justin and EJ and
Do you feel like there's a drop ball here or a missed
Yep.
connection there? Do you feel like it's ready to explode?
Yeah, I mean, again, you're not going to have a passing game when you don't have numbers to pass the ball. I mean, you're just not going to sit there and that's kind of what we saw the first couple of ball games. But then when we did, we've missed opportunities. We've missed some big ones. So the best we've been was this past game, and you see it was all there, and we made some really good plays. Now we played on a long field too. I mean, that's the other thing about this past game. I was really pleased with how we were able to move the ball off the goal line in the 10 several times. Now we settled for some field goals, but we made a lot of plays. But again, we missed them. We had 3 or 4 big drops. At least 3 big misses that are plays we need to make. So we don't need to come out of a game with 7, 8 plays that we don't make. We need to come out of them and have 3 or 4 maybe that we didn't make. Instead of 8. You'd like to make them all, but you can't have 8, 9, 10 plays that are there that you don't make, whether it be a protection issue, a poor throw, a bad route, a drop, or you make the play and there's a penalty. We just got to put it all together. And we're again, this past game we were very, very close, but we gotta get it done.
with EJ and Frank and Justin, how are they doing health-wise?
Justin Ross, he's great. Yeah, Justin's fine. He's doing great. I think the week off's been good for him, for sure. Oh yeah, I guess his last game was his net. Yeah, he's fine. Frank's still battling. EJ's battling. You know, EJ really hadn't been healthy in a while. You know, and then Frank's kind of, you know, been a day-to-day guy, you know, battling or growing. So, you know, hopefully he'll be in a better spot, you know, by the end of by Friday night. He's battling each day. And then, you know, pleased with you know, Joe and Bo and Dakari. They're making progress. This past week was really good for those guys. Grish has done a good job really trying to cross-train and create some depth there. So, again, hopefully those guys will have a little more opportunity as we go the second half as well.
I was going to ask about Dakari. Just how has Dakari been progressing in practice, and is he close to being ready to
Yeah, overwhelmed early. You know, he's a very talented kid, very talented. Big body, strong hands, runs really well. It's really important to him. He's got a bright future, but overwhelmed. You know, get here and it's a lot to learn. Game is fast. Not again, you know, some of these guys look like they're ready to. Some of them look like they're a senior in college, you know, but mentally they're just young players. And so I'd say overwhelmed, but he's fought through that, and I think he hit a wall at one point. I think he's pushed through that now, and now he's in a much better space. I think the game has slowed down a little bit for him. They still got a ways to go, but you know, I'm excited about his progress for sure. And then Bo, man, Bo's you know, kind of just the opposite, you know. But he was here in January. He's one of the most natural, you know, receivers that we've had come through here. I mean, as far as just like natural, you know, from Justin Ross, Sammy Watkins, and Bo Collins. I would put as far as three guys just from a technical standpoint, a really understanding of route running and all the nuances and break points and all that. He's a very advanced kid. You know, now mentally, you know, and schematically and all that stuff, you know, still growing, and you know, consistency in finishing some plays, and you know, sometimes that's a result of confidence in what you're doing and speed of the game and all that. But man, he's a polished kid, you know, when it comes to just the functionality of playing the position. So you know, he's made some big strides, and you know, I think he's got a chance to really help us down the stretch too.
You mentioned last night being sort of amazed with how quickly Shipley's been able to recover. Is there any chance he can go Friday?
No. I wish. It'd be a chance in his mind, I'll guarantee you. He's amazing. He and Tyler Davis. I'd put them both in that same category. And, you know, some guys just, I don't know, they just respond differently. And then, you know, they're both grinders. You know, they're just absolute grinders when it comes to how they do anything. They attack everything. So if it's rehab, that's what their focus is. That's what they attack. And he's, you know, we went from a guy thinking he's done for the year to, you know, he'll be back sooner than later. So I'm really excited about his progress. The same thing with Tyler Davis. You know, it'd be a big shot in the arm to get two guys back like that.
Is he off crutches at this point?
Who's that?
Will.
Yeah.
Shipley.
Oh yeah. No, he's off crutches and really making great progress.
Do you have any sort of feel on best case scenario for his return?
No, I'm just kind of, you know, whatever the doctors say, but he's, you know, I just hear them and they just talk about he's, you know, how good he's doing. So hopefully that's a real positive.
Could you talk about how much Syracuse is running the ball? They're also not going as fast on offense as we're used to under Dino. Is this another one of those games where they could really eat up a lot of clock and limit your offensive possessions if you can't get some 3 downs?
Ain't no doubt about that, man. I mean, we got to hold them, got to hold the rushing down, and you know, not let them be efficient there. And third down, it's gonna be critical. I mean, if you go in 2017 up there, we lost 27-24, and I think they were like 10 of 20 on conversion downs, third and fourth down, and I think we had 12 penalties. I mean, we were on defense. I think we were awful, and that led what do conversions do? They lead to more play. I think it had 99 plays, and we were just, man, we were terrible defensively that night, and we weren't really good anywhere. But we were really, really poor. We missed kicks. Quarterback was hurt, and then defensively we could not get off the field. And, 99 plays, you end up getting beat 27-24. So I think third down is critical in a game like this, man. We have to get off the field. And the only way that's going to happen is we've got to win the line of scrimmage, and we got to tackle. I mean, we have to tackle. Tackling is at a premium because there's going to be some one-on-one tackles in a game like this. There's going to be some space tackles. Our linebackers have got to do a great job, getting this quarterback down when he runs the football because, again, he breaks tackles and he runs away from people. I mean, you just watch the tape. There's been some things where, they're running the midline and man, they bust him a couple times and they hold the backer backside and that guy comes through and it's one-on-one with him and the linebacker and he just makes a miss. Or they run the boot and they've got the perfect design on the chalkboard and there's the guy, he's there to make the tackle and it's the way it's supposed to be, but he don't make the tackle. And now he's gone for 40 yards, or it's just a scramble play, where you got guys there and you don't get him down. And it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing with this running back. Tackling is going to be at a premium. If we're going to be effective against the run, we're going to have to really be disruptive up front, and we have to tackle at a high level because that back can take it the distance. He can make people miss. He breaks tackles, and it's the same thing with this quarterback. This dude can run. I mean, he can really, really run. So if you can't stop the run, it's going to be that affects third down. And so getting off third down, and again, their style of play is a little different. I mean, that's just, again, Dino's, hey, here's his personnel, and he's a good coach. He's going to use what he has. And, we've seen them when they've come in at breakneck speed, and it's, snap the ball every 5 seconds. This team is built differently that way. They're going to focus on running the ball and controlling the clock and being very efficient on third down. So that's where we got to win.
Any update on Fred and Mario and how those guys are doing this week?
Mario's good. Fred's probably not quite ready, but he'll be. I think he's close. I think he's much better. The week off was good for him, and he had a pretty good little ankle sprain. So hopefully he'll be. I don't think he'll be ready this week, but I think he'll be ready to go next week, hopefully.
Do you think it's harder now for tempo to be like the identity and brand of an offense, given how defenses have adjusted over the years with how prevalent it's been, like against the West?
No, I think it just depends on if you got the personnel to do what you need to do. I mean, I think it's tempo is a part of the game still to this day. I mean, it's puts a lot of stress on a defense and it simplifies and in substitutions and what they can do, but you got to be you got to have the right people, the right personnel, the right depth, and you got to be committed to it. But again, and then I think you got to mix it up. I do think you have to vary the tempo as well. So, but I don't see tempo going away. You see it in the NFL too. It's a mixture, but you'll see people push it quickly.
Moving forward for you guys, how much would you like to see it?
Oh man, we want to be a much better tempo team, but again, you need rhythm, and once you kind of can get some rhythm going, then I think you can really drive the tempo, and that creates problems. So you've seen people do that to us, and we've certainly done that to people over the years, but we're not where we need to be in that category right now.
Dabo, you mentioned that your record this season away from home. I guess how important will this next 2-week stretch be? Going to Syracuse for a Friday game and then going to Pitt.
Well, if we want to have any chance at all of staying in the hunt, we got to take care of business. I mean, and again, if we were 5-0, wouldn't this be the biggest game of the year? I mean, we need to win it, right? And nothing's changed. So, from my perspective, the record it doesn't have anything to do with how you should play. I mean, this game is huge for us. It's huge for them. I mean, we got to win the game. So, and if we were 5-0, we got to win the game to have any chance of having the best type of season that you could possibly have. And so, we're halftime, right? And it doesn't matter. I always say, I got a thing on my desk, there's nothing less important than the score at halftime. I've had that for 30-plus years. because there's never been a truer statement. I've been 2-3 and played for the ACC championship. Been 1-2 and, beat Oklahoma in the bowl 40-6. I've been 8-0 and we didn't finish. We went 2-4 down the stretch, and everybody forgot about the 8-0. So, this team will be judged by how we finish, and it doesn't matter if you're 5-0. And there's teams that are 5-0 and 6-0 right now. Guess what? They're going to be judged by how they finish. That's just college football. So we got a long way to go, and whether we were 5-0 or we're sitting here, 3-2 with 2 heartbreakers, we need to win the game, and ain't nothing changed. Wouldn't be any different. And we need to win on the road. We haven't done that. Been in position, but we gotta finish.
Coach, you said Matt Bockhorst had his best game last week against DC. He was named a semifinalist for the Campbell Trophy, which I know is important to you. It's hard to overstate just how much he means to this team, both on and off the field.
Yeah, what Matt means?
Bockhorst.
Oh yeah, he's a heart and soul guy. He's a program guy. He's a guy that's the epitome of what you want your program to be about. And we have so many guys that fit that category on this team. But here's a guy that's getting his master's degree. He's not only come here and gotten a degree, he's gotten education. And, man, he has taken full advantage of it. He's a great ambassador, just a great young man, and has really given every ounce of everything that he has in his body, from his toenails through the scalp of his head, to this program, to be the best he can be. He's the epitome of what that standard is all about, taking what you got and being committed to being your best in everything that you do. And that's how that kid is, man. He's just he's a special. He's going to be, we might all work for Bockhorst one day. And we got several guys again on this team that fit that category. He's just a great representative of everything that's good about college football. And he has just truly maximized his experience, his journey. He's played hurt. He's had injuries. He's fought back. He's done an unbelievable job in all the leadership roles in this program. He's been incredible academically. Really proud of Bach. To me, he's just what coaching's all about. When you see, this kid come out. He was hurt in high school. You remember that? And he's coming in here, and to see him where he is now, and all that he's been through with his journey, and it's really cool. It's what it's all about, and got a bright future, and just proud of what he brings to the table every single day. That guy shows up ready to compete.
Yesterday, DJ was asked about going back out into the stadium after midnight and throwing with one of the trainers or equipment managers. Thought it was interesting. He said, "Well, I missed throws." When he was asked, he named each throw, what route it was, what he did wrong on it. Is that kind of the thing? And he also said it was the first time the cameras have caught him, that he's done that before.
Yeah.
Is that what you guys see behind closed doors?
Every day, it's who he is, and that's why he's going to be awesome. He's just too talented. He cares. He's incredibly committed, and just a matter of time for it all. Y'all have all seen him. It's not like it's some kind of theory and potential. He's a special player. He just had a rough start, but it's good for him. In the long run, this will be great for him. It's going to be great for him at Clemson. It's going to be great for him in his future. This is a special dude, man. There's going to be a lot of people eating their words, over this guy's career. He's a big-time player and talent. But, again, everybody can get in bad spots and, miss some shots. Sometimes it doesn't just go in like we want it to, and miss the putts. The best of the best. Sometimes all of a sudden they don't putt very well. And I think when that's the case, you go back to the basics. And again, what's it a result of? First of all, he's got to be better, but everybody's got to be better around him. But there's nobody more committed, more dedicated than that guy. I mean, he works his tail off, and it's very important to him. But in the long run, like I said, kind of where he's been through, what he's been through this first half of the season, it's going to serve him well. It's going to serve him well. There's career, and learn how to handle criticism, learn how to handle, disappointment and expectations, and all that type of stuff. It either, as I always say, a little adversity, it either shines you up or grinds you up. It's all about what you made up on the inside, right? And he's made of the right things on the inside, and it'll shine him up. But that's who he is. That's who he's always been. It's what we see every single day. So he'll be just fine.
What did Ennis show you during his 38 snaps, I guess particularly from a blocking standpoint?
Toughness, physicality, and he was ready. He's a true freshman. Let's just call it like it is. I mean, he didn't play last year. Really didn't even practice much last year with all his situation. He had surgery, and he had COVID, and all kind of things. He couldn't. The finger deal. He's out for most of the year. So, man, I'm really proud of him for first of all being ready. And what a great example to the rest of the guys. He went in and did a heck of a job for us, and made his first catch. Coming off backed up, off the goal line there, and but really a tough kid, what's what we've seen, and he's a guy too that's, battled through some injuries and things like that, but just proud of him. I mean, he showed what he's capable of doing, and it's a good starting point and a good foundation, and hopefully he can take the next step for us, because we're going to need him.
How's Putnam look this week?
A lot better. He's been able to get back into practice, and so hopeful and confident that he'll be ready to go.
Balin was talking yesterday about just being there for Brandon and trying to help him. Do you have any update on Brandon and kind of?
He's getting better. I think kind of the next step is the dress of the day, as far as he's been getting back into helmet and vests and going through individual and all that. And man, he's got fresh legs. I'll tell you that. He looks fast, and I think he's excited because he's just in a lot better spot than he was 2 months ago. So we're encouraged. In fact, they had another big test they were doing on him today, so hopefully that'll turn out well. But the next step is kind of dress of the day, as far as pads and all that, and just kind of see where he's at, from a sustainability standpoint. But I'm proud of him, and it's a good time to hopefully be getting him back here somewhere soon, even if it's on a limited basis. It'd be a great shot in the arm to get him back going.
You feel like you missed having him some just as a
Spec? Oh, heck yeah, man. Spec's a good player. I mean, again, he was a redshirt freshman last year, and we had some high expectations for him. And same thing, hurt, couldn't play. Had several issues that he battled through last year with his knee, et cetera. And so he's technically a redshirt freshman again this year. That's kind of where he is, and that's how we're looking at it. But yeah, he's like his brother playing receiver. I mean, he's a tough physical kid that can play the game. And good news is he's got all of his football in front of him, and hopefully he'll be able to get back and do some things to help us this year, but not quite there yet.
What challenge is just playing inside that dome, unique atmosphere they have, and it's on a Friday night? What does that present for this group of guys? Is there anything that's any different than any other game?
Well, I mean, it's a unique setting. I mean, it's not your typical dome. It's not like you're going to some of the domes around there with real higher ceiling. I mean, it's a little lower ceiling. It's just a different feel to it, but it's loud, man. They do a great job. I mean, they really do. It's a great environment for college football. It is very unique. And to go on the road and to a home teams and play in a dome, I mean, we don't. It's the only place that is there anybody else we go to that's a home team? I mean, we play, bowl games and things like that, but it's the only place, so that makes it a little different, for it to be a true home game in a dome. But obviously the noise echoes and all that stuff. I think they put air in it now. I did hear that, so I don't know what else changes they've had, but it's a cool place to play. It really is. I always enjoy going up there, and it's one of those places you can kind of feel the history. There's a lot of history at Syracuse. I mean, man, if you're a football fan, there is a lot of really amazing history at Syracuse, and you walk around and you start looking at some of those names. These are some of the greatest of all time. So it's a fun place to go compete.
I feel like you're a little bit in the Big East here, playing Boston College, Syracuse, Pitt.
I guess so. Yeah, back to back. We go Pitt next week. So yeah, I guess so.
Dabo, on DJ, is there anything mechanically that you guys have picked up on that he's doing this year that he wasn't doing last year, or vice versa?
Yeah, just some. I think been a few fundamental things, that in some of the misses that you point out and coach up, and again, just that's why I keep saying it's back to the basics. At every position, it's not the big things; it's the little things. Footwork. You throw the ball from the ground up, but that's everywhere. That's not just DJ. Same thing at receiver. Same thing at OL. Same thing at linebacker. It's usually when you're not performing quite where you need to be, there's some your effort may be good, but we always say it takes effort with technique to have the right execution. So sometimes you do everything right and it just doesn't work out, but sometimes you can as a coach you can say, man, well, hey, we didn't get that block because it's an outside zone and our footwork we didn't give ourselves a chance because of the footwork. And so that's at every position, and quarterback's no different.
As a coach, is it kind of a tough balance between sort of coaching the proper fundamentals and technique and trying not to take too much away from what he does naturally, sort of?
No, we're not trying to change his throwing motion. Again, you just you want to do it. You certainly want players to be natural in what they do, but there's just basic fundamental things that you have to do if you're going to progress. Again, if receivers false stepping every single time, he's not going to progress. If his body control at his break points isn't where it needs to be technically, he's not going to win that battle in tight coverage. If his route running technique fundamentally doesn't improve, he's not going to get better. So it doesn't mean you want to take away something naturally. You're just trying to coach him up. And but he's always been a very committed guy fundamentally. I just think people overanalyze things when you don't have when some things all of a sudden don't. It's not anything major at all. It's really not.
We'll transition to questions from Zoom. If you have a question, please unmute, identify your name and affiliation, and ask your question.
Yeah, well, David with ESPN. I know you talked a little bit in the offseason about sort of your evolving philosophy on the transfer portal and bringing guys in. I'm curious, given obviously the youth that you've talked about on offense and some of the depth issues, do you look back and think, well, maybe we could have been a little more aggressive, or do you take a lesson from that and say maybe next year we want to dive in there a little bit more? And how do you find the balance with culture is such a big part of what you guys do?
Boy, the weekly transfer portal question. Man, is it like who's got the short stick this week? You're next week? Okay, all right, next week. I wouldn't do anything differently. That means to do something differently. That means I wouldn't have taken one of the kids that we took. I love the players we've got here. So I don't. Injuries are part of game. There's nothing you can do. And you can only sign so many players. So if you can't just we all get 85. That's it. That's all we get. And, if we were going to, sign 2 running backs, well, guess what? We signed 2 running backs. Should I have gone to the transfer portal and take a veteran over Shipley and Maffa because Shipley got hurt? I'm not. Maybe you would if you're the head coach and, you can do whatever you want. But I wouldn't change anything. And again, I'm not opposed to the transfer portal. I'm not some anti-transfer portal, deal. It's just, and if I was at another school, another university, that might be all I sign as transfer portal guys. If I was at some school where you couldn't recruit the really best of the best high school kids, I probably would sign only transfer. And that's what a lot of people are going to do, which is, I think, is sad. But that's what because it's going to cost a lot of high school kids opportunities that they would have had at other places. But if I was at another school and I couldn't recruit the type of kids that we can recruit here at Clemson, then I probably wouldn't sign high school kids. But I'm at but I'm at Clemson, and we've been able to sign great kids that we believe in, and but we're not even a year into this thing, and as I've said like 100 times already, and I keep getting the same question every single week. I've said this 100 times. If we need to use the portal, we'll use it. But I'm not going to just do something just to do something. So, I don't know why everybody keeps asking me that. The transfer portal has always been around. It's just been grad guys. But there's not been anybody from a grad transfer standpoint that has been able to come in here that I felt like, or any of us felt like, could start here. And so we'd rather take the high school kid. That's been our philosophy here. I think it's worked pretty good. There's been a lot of things that y'all have asked me over the years, why didn't we do this? Why didn't we do that? And, I think we've done all right. So we're not 3-2 because we haven't signed somebody from the transfer portal. Give me a break. We won 29 in a row. We lost to Joe Burrow. He was a transfer quarterback. So should I have taken Joe Burrow over Trevor Lawrence or traded him out or what? It's not why we are 3-2. That's for sure. So I don't regret the kids that we've signed at all. I love them 4 linemen we've signed. I think they're all going to be good players, and but moving forward, we're not even a year into. Now you have freshmen, sophomores, and juniors that can leave and be eligible right away. So that's a game changer for every coach out there, and that's going to change recruiting forever. I don't see any scenario whatsoever for any school that they're not going to have to deal with the portal or sign somebody from the portal somewhere along the way. I don't care who it is, Clemson or whatever, because when kids leave in May and all of a sudden you have gaps in your roster, there's no high school kids to recruit in May. There are none. So you don't have, you're kind of forced to have to do that. And so, as I've said 100 times, if we need it, we'll use it, for our benefit. But it won't be any different. We'll get the very best of the best, and we'll get kids that fit our program. But we have not needed it to this point. And if all of a sudden, again, we get gaps in our roster, or all of a sudden we start doing a terrible job of evaluation and things like that, then, things could change. So is there anybody got any more questions about the portal? I don't know what else we're going to talk about. I can't help guys get hurt.
The other thing I wanted to ask was in terms of just the success that you've had, losing a couple of games early is not something you've had to deal with in a while, and certainly the guys on this team have not had to deal with that. Do you think that a bye week or the sort of the time away from the week-to-week grind gives them a chance to sort of exhale and reevaluate and say, like, all right, maybe we were putting a little too much pressure, pressing too much because we were trying to meet an expectation that was X, and let's just go out and kind of have some fun like we would normally be doing at this time of the year?
No, I don't buy into none of that. I just think Georgia beat us, and I think NC State beat us. That's what I think. And we didn't play very well. There's things we need to do better. It's football. I don't buy in all that other mess. You know, we got 2 games that came down to the last play, and we didn't win either one of them. If we made both those plays and we're 5-0, we ain't any better. We still got work to do. This is the biggest game of the year. You know, but we are where we are. It's given us a great opportunity to teach perspective. I think is important because, you know, as you said, I mean, we've got a lot of kids on this team. They never lost hardly ever, and so as I've said many times, you know, sometimes there's you know, lessons that you can teach in moments like we've had that are harder to teach when you win, and sometimes they listen a little bit more, you know. So just, you know, I wish I could say we were going to win every game every year for the rest of history, but you know, everybody else has good players and good coaches, and there's lots of things. You know, sometimes you're working your butt off, but maybe you're just not quite as good as you need to be. You know, we are where we are. It's half the season. We got a long way to go, and hopefully we can be better in the second half. But we got a great group of people and young men I believe in, a staff I believe in, and you know, we're going to line up and go compete with everything we got the rest of the way. But I think the biggest thing is just, you know, keeping a good, proper perspective when you're dealing with a bunch of young people and, you know, managing a bunch of noise and things that really don't matter.
We've got time for one more from Zoom.
Hey, Coach, Ben Spector, Citrus TV. Can you talk about the impact that Balin and Brennan Spector have had on your program over the past couple seasons?
Well, Brandon's just kind of getting going. You know, he hadn't really had much opportunity to this point. Great kid, unbelievably committed. Unfortunate, you know, had some injuries last year as a redshirt freshman that kind of limited him. And then obviously this year, he really hasn't been able to do anything. So kind of looking at him as a redshirt freshman, unbelievable kid, great family, 2 of the toughest guys we got on this football team. You know, the both of these guys are just they're really, they love football, and you know, they're passionate about it. Man, Balin Spector and what he's done here in his 5-year career, man, he's battled things. He's redshirted. He's had injuries. He's had surgeries. He's had things. But, man, he is one of the toughest kids we've had come through Clemson ever in my 19 years at Clemson. I'd put Balin Spector right there with, you know, some of the toughest we've ever had. He's a very smart, savvy, instinctive player. He's athletic. I mean, you know, Spec's got a bright future, you know, but he's a great player. So I'm just proud of who he is as a young man and how he's grown, and same thing, his commitment to this program. So you just can't say enough good things about you know, who he is, how hard he's worked, the progress he's made in his 5 years here.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Okay, appreciate it.